Hey everyone, I wanted to make this video to give you an update about my whole PR work permit visa situation and to share what has happened, what will happen this week and the weeks to come. First of all, I really want to thank you for praying for me so faithfully these past few weeks. I've been really encouraged by the amount of support and care I received from many, and I have really felt your prayers. I have really felt God just surrounding me with a whole army here on earth of people who are just standing with me in prayer. And it's been really encouraging to see God at move. I have a wall here, which you can't completely see all of it, but it's filled with just reminders of who God is, of His promises, and also of the miracles that I've seen these past few days and weeks, and also my requests that I'm asking Him to move in really big ways, especially this week. So I just want to invite you to continue to pray with me, to continue to stand with me in all of this. And yeah, I want to share now what has happened. So I have my new passport, which is the first miracle that I've been able just to see the past few weeks. I got this not this past Friday, but the Friday before that. And having my new passport has allowed me to just be able to fill in all the documentation that I needed to fill in. So praise Jesus for this passport. Second, this past Thursday, I was able to submit an application to extend my current work permit. And so I'm also really happy I was able to just do that. In the letter that I sent a couple weeks ago, I shared that I was in contact with an immigration lawyer. I've actually hired him and have started working with him. And he's been an answer to prayer as well because of how helpful and kind he's been to me these past few days. So we've worked in putting this application together and we submitted it on Thursday. So that's also a big praise Jesus moment and just ways that I've been able to see God at move in this whole situation. So there's a lot to share, and bear with me, this video might be a little bit long, but there's a couple of important things that will happen this week. Although there's been a lot of victory in this whole situation, there's a couple of other problems that have come, and yeah, I just want to share those with you. So I shared with you before that I currently hold what's called a postgraduate work permit, and this permit is a permit that's given to people who have studied in Canada as international students. The maximum amount of years that you can get with this or postgraduate work permit is 3 years. And that depends on how many years you study in Canada. I studied 4 years in Canada, so technically I was and I am eligible for the 3 years of work permit. The problem is that they didn't give me those 3 years. They gave me 2 years. And we believe that this happened because my old passport expired this year in July as well. So we believe that that's why they only gave me the 2 years instead of the 3 years. Technically, you are not really allowed to apply to extend this kind of permit because it's once they give it to you, you can't really extend it anymore. But in my case, I wasn't given those 3 years that I was entitled for. I was only given the 2. So we basically presented a case and with a lot of evidence proving that I was only given 2 and that I have studied in Canada for 4. And we basically requested an extension to my current postgraduate work permit, which would give me 1 more year of work permit in Canada, and that would be great. That would be really great. Now the second problem is that most of the applications that you do online, and once you finish your application and you press the submit button, then the computer checks your application for completeness and it enters into the accepted applications. And once that's done, you have implied status in the country. But for some reason, this extension could only be done on paper. So we did that. We got everything that we needed, and on Thursday we submitted these papers. Now the problem is that they should be receiving my papers today, and today is July 6th, which means that technically I submitted my application before July 10th when my current work permit expires. But it doesn't count the date that they receive or that I submit the application or that they get my papers. What counts is when an officer opens my application, checks for completeness, and approves it as like received. Once that is done, then I will have implied status as they process the application. The problem with this whole thing is that because of the amount of paperwork they get, they might not open my file before July 10th. Or before this Friday. And if they don't open my file before this Friday, then it technically doesn't count anymore after July 10th. Because after July 10th, when my work permit expires, I will already be illegally in Canada. And if they see that, if they receive it, if they open it past on a date past of your due date, then they deny it right away. And so because this problem came up last week, I've also applied to something called a restoration status. So basically, when you are in Canada illegally, you have 90 days after your past due date to apply to this restoration status, basically presenting documents and information explaining why you let your permit expire. And so I did that on Thursday. We submitted my restoration status application along with my postgraduate work permit, hoping that if they open my files after July 10th, that I will have that in place already. So that is really the whole thing that happened this past week of trying to figure out what to do. But like my lawyer said, at the end of the day, this really depends on who opens and views your file, and like whose hands it lands on almost. And yeah, so the first way that you can really pray with me and for me this week is I'm praying for a miracle, again, a big God move, and I'm praying that that my papers will be opened and checked for completeness and received before Friday. And we are only 5 days away, and it is impossible, according to my lawyer. But I've just been trying to believe in the God who is able to make the impossible into a possible. And if they were to do that, then by Friday I would have implied status in the country, and I would be informed that my application has been seen, approved, and is being processed. Now I am also prepared if that doesn't happen. I'm believing that it will this week, but if it doesn't, then well, I will just have to wait till they open my both my applications, the work permit extension and the restoration one. And but another problem that comes with that is that if they don't open it by Friday, then I am no longer legally able to work in Canada. So I will have to stop working on Friday and just wait until they open my files, and just wait for them to either approve or deny after they process them. So that's honestly been very nerve-wracking and a little bit stressful. And yeah, I've been feeling lots of different emotions, but it's right now, this whole situation is out of my control. I'm literally able to do nothing more than to wait. So that's been very challenging for my own faith. But, you know, God is in control, and that's what really I've been holding on to this past week, and what this week I will have to just remind myself over and over again. Alongside this whole situation, I've been working also in getting all the documents that I need for my permanent residency. So I was invited to apply for PR, which is something that's really great. And we've actually used this scenario to also we've used the PR situation to also add to my postgraduate work permit, because they can see that I'm invited to apply for both. Anyway, that just ignore everything that I said. But I've been trying to speed up the process of getting everything ready for my PR. When you're invited to apply for permanent residency, you have so many documentation that you have to submit, police records, medical exams. So I've been also moving in speeding up that process, so that if they were to accept my application and it goes into processing, I will try to get this done and submit it as well, just in case they were to deny the extension of my current work permit. But once I submit my PR application, then I'm able to apply for this whole entire new visa, which is called the Bridging Open Work Permit, which I'm only able to apply for once I've submitted my PR. So yeah, that is all that's happening with my life. I hope I didn't miss anything, but I am asking you to pray with me this week for a big God move, for a miracle, that the officer, that my file will somehow go to the top, that they will open it and stamp it as approved and give me implied status by July 10th. And I'm also praying for favor, that God will give me favor in the eyes of this, whatever immigration officer views my files, and that they will approve it, that they will approve my restoration status if it goes past July 10th, that they will approve my extension to my postgraduate work permit, and that will give me enough time, buffer time, to get all the documents that I need to submit my permanent residency application. But most importantly, that I will be able to continue to work. You know that I work for Part of Change, and I'm just excited to be able to continue to do this. And not being able to work is it's going to be a challenge. Thank you for watching this really long video. Thank you for praying for me. Thank you for just standing with me in prayer. I've been really, really moved by that. And a verse that I've been meditating on a lot is 2 Corinthians 20:15, which basically God is fighting this battle and not me. And I need to believe that, and just pray that whatever happens, even if nothing gets approved and I have to leave this beautiful country and go back to Bolivia, just pray that I will know that God is good and He's in control, and that He is faithful and He's moving in this whole situation. So thank you so much for praying with me and for me, and for just loving on me this past few weeks with your prayers. I will keep you posted with what happens these next few days, and I will be sharing and posting more. I love you, and I am praying for you as well, and I am really, really thankful that I have you as a family, as my church family. Bless you, and talk to you soon.